All right, everyone, night 2 in West Texas. Last night was pretty remarkable. We saw a ton of snakes, including some of our big target species that we love to see. So hoping to have some of that same success tonight. I'm going to keep the intro short and we're going to get to it. Let's see what we can turn up. All right, this is one of the coolest bugs we have here in West Texas. I call them super battle droids, but their actual name is the woods jeweled scarab's a common name, right? Yeah. Christina woodeye, very colorful little beetle that'll sometimes fly into your face while you're shining out here. Is he still there? Did he leave like a normal kangaroo rat?
Maybe he did.
Oh, he's right there.
Where?
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
There he is. 2 nights in a row.
And he's even the same color.
That's got to be the same guy.
What the heck is up with
He's digging. Look. What's up, dude?
Well, he survived the night.
Yeah, it turns out he didn't get bit by a rattlesnake. He's just a bro.
What a goofy little guy.
Well, we still haven't seen any snakes. Oh, here's another one of these guys. You can see they're not very graceful. Well, that is a really weird and unexpected first snake of the night. That is a Mojave in the mountains. Frank and I actually gave up on our first spot of the night. We were headed to our second spot of the night, and I just came across this guy. Now, these guys are pretty superficially similar to Western diamondbacks, but their blotches are quite a bit different, and their head pattern is quite different too. And their tails are a little bit different as well. Oh, he's getting a little grumpy. These guys are notoriously kind of meanies. They're a very jumpy and easily agitated rattlesnake species, so I'm just going to give this guy his space, but very cool to see. Haven't seen a Mojave in a long time. Hopefully this won't be the only one we see this trip. All right, well, we're at our next cut, and Frank spotted a beautiful little Trans-Pecos Copperhead. It has been a really good diversity over the last 2 nights. We've seen a lot of the cool snakes that you want to see out here. The Mojave rattlesnake is not a very weird find, but it was in a very weird area. And then I pull up to the next cut, and Frank has already found a beautiful little copperhead. Really cool. And you can see these guys look quite a bit different from the copperheads we're used to seeing in Georgia. And as you would kind of expect for a copperhead living in a desert environment. But really cool snakes. Something I never get tired of seeing. Hello, little dude. You gonna come say hello? You can see this guy's pretty small. They get about the same size as our copperheads back home, maybe a little bit smaller when fully grown. But a very good looking snake. Get some pics and let him go. I guess we've seen most of the venomous snakes now. I guess the only one I'm missing is Viridis, right?
Viridis, yeah.
And the Massasauga, but Massasaugas aren't really real. We've got another weird kangaroo rat bro situation. What is this thing doing?
Was it kind of like snuggling in that little divot?
That's what it looked like. A little night snake. Look at that guy. These guys are a very common snake here in West Texas, but they are, I think, kind of underappreciated. They're very unique among U.S. snakes. These guys have cool little elliptical pupils. They're very, kind of like a weird little dull alterna almost. They love going in and out of the cracks, and they tend to hang out in areas that have a lot of lizards. But very neat little snake, but something that is very common here in West Texas. And I'm sure we'll see more on this trip at some point. So here's a little crevice spiny lizard. We've seen quite a few of these, but this is the first one I've actually been able to video. They tend to sleep on the cuts or the rock faces with their tail hanging out, so you'll just see like that, and it kind of looks like a snake. But this one's a baby. They're actually a pretty big Scoloporus. They get like, I don't know, 7 or 8 inches long, maybe bigger. Well, it wouldn't be August in West Texas without a baby Atrox. That might be the last snake of the night. I'm on my way back to town. Definitely not as snaky as last night, but we saw a few things. What is this guy? A medium Atrox. Nice. You gonna be a grumpy little dude? Very cool. We've seen a lot of baby Atrox, and actually we did lose a big Atrox earlier at the base of a rock cut. So this is our first kind of adult Atrox we've gotten a good look at this trip, and I'm sure there will be many more to come. It is truthfully absurd how many rattlesnakes a man can see just trying to drive back to town in August in West Texas. Another pretty little baby Aatrox. Once again, like 6 to 8 inches long. And here's another medium Aatrox. Looks like this guy's about to spring to life, as they do. I'm gonna get a quick photo. I can actually barely move without finding an Aatrox. This is ridiculous. And they're not even babies. This one's just like a normal-sized adult. They're absolutely everywhere. All right, this one's very grumpy. We'll leave you alone. All right, everyone, our time in West Texas has come to an end, at least temporarily. We might come back later if they get more rain, but for now, we are headed to one of my favorite states and a strong contender for the best state in the United States, the lovely place that is New Mexico. So we're going to be camping out in New Mexico for the next, basically like 2 weeks for the most part, and we'll probably move around a little bit, might dip into Arizona or maybe back to West Texas. But for now, we got a little bit of a drive ahead of us, and we're going to meet up with our good friend Graham. Graham hasn't been on the channel in a while, and I know everybody's been asking about him, so let's get this drive out of the way and find some New Mexico snakes. Oh, we made it to New Mexico. Is that an Aatrox? We still have a little bit of a drive to get to our destination, but it's already beautiful. There it is. Look who it is.
That's me.
One of the absolute best things about the state of New Mexico is we actually have smart solar panels over a parking lot instead of bulldozing habitat to put solar farms in. Unbelievable. You would think it would be common sense. Graham, what's about to go down? Go ahead and...
Who's hog?
We're going camping. All right, everyone, we are headed to the area we are going to be camping here in New Mexico. Picked up some groceries with Graham, and we've got a nice little road cruise to camp tonight. But other than that, we might not do too much herping. We'll see. It's been a long day of driving. But then, of course, tomorrow morning we'll be up first thing, and we're going to hit it hard here in New Mexico. So I'm looking forward to see what we can turn up. If we don't see anything tonight, I will see you guys in the morning. But hopefully we'll see some snakes on the road tonight. We'll see. All right, first New Mexico snake, and unsurprisingly, it's a little Aatrox. However, look at his tail. That's kind of cool. Doesn't have any banding on it. It's just solid white. All right, well, the next snake of the night is a pretty good one. Look at that. A little desert king. Well, these are probably the most common Lamprepeltis in New Mexico, other than maybe milk snakes in some areas, but generally speaking, these guys are pretty ubiquitous anytime you're in a grassland type situation. But they're very cool. This one's a young desert king snake. You can see he's a little bit less than a foot long. You can see they are superficially kind of similar to the king snakes we see in Georgia, but they do have that sock head that's kind of textbook of a desert king snake. And in some areas, they kind of integrate with speckled kings and will look a little bit intermediate between the two. Very cool snake, but something I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of, so we'll just get some quick pics and let him go. All right, everyone, it's the next morning. Yesterday's road cruising session just produced a couple of snakes. Then we saw a couple DORs on our way to camp. It's nice and cool up here in the mountains, even though we did sleep in a little bit. You can see the sun's fairly high in the sky. But it's never going to get super hot up here. And then, of course, once it starts cooling off in the evening, we should be in a pretty great activity window. So let's not waste any more time and get to hiking. This place is so awesome and lush right now. Now we just need a snake. This looks like a pretty likely spot. So this is the summer monsoon season here in the desert Southwest, and around the time it starts to get hot in the morning, these lovely clouds start to form, and then if we're lucky, it'll rain. And then we'll have a nice reactivation of the morning window when everything gets nice and wet, and the snakes are gonna wanna come out. But so far this morning, the snakes have not been out yet, so we'll keep at it. All right, Caitlin spotted our first herp of the day. This is a canyon tree frog, Hyla arenicolor. They're pretty common throughout a lot of West Texas and New Mexico, but very cool. Always nice to see frogs living and thriving in kind of arid environments. Although it is a little hard to call this lush canyon arid, despite the fact that we are in New Mexico. He just wants to show me his butt, so that's what you get, I guess. That's a heck of a flower. And just like that, it's raining on us. We're gonna try to cook some lunch, but now we have to deal with the rain. But hopefully this will bring the snakes out in the afternoon. We're making bacon in the back of Graham's car because it just will not stop raining. All right, y'all, we're entering the evening hours, and today's been pretty frustrating, honestly. It's been a series of rainouts where we start hiking and then suddenly it starts thunderstorming. We haven't seen a single snake, so we're probably about to go road cruising. Hopefully that will change our luck if we don't see anything on the rest of this hike. We'll see. Now we're talking.
Now we are cooking.
Now we're talking.
I guess.
First banded rock rattlesnake of the trip.
That's a good snake.
It's a little green guy. Heck yeah. Well, it has been a rough day of hiking, but the road cruising has started off pretty strong with a green little banded rock rattlesnake. These are one of the main things we want to see whenever we're in New Mexico. And truthfully, one of the more iconic species of the state of New Mexico, in my opinion. Gorgeous little snake, kind of a little bit of a minty green tint to this guy. Still a pretty young male, so as he gets bigger, he'll probably get more colorful, but very, very nice. All right, this little dude is out of the road, but hopefully that won't be the only snake of the night. We're gonna get back to it. First banded rock rattlesnake, and hopefully not the last of our time in New Mexico. What a great looking snake. All right, next snake of the night is a big blind snake, weirdly enough. Look at this guy. Normally blind snakes are kind of small, but this guy's actually kind of meaty. Just a big pink worm guy in the road. Really cool. I'll have to actually look up what species this is because I have no idea, honestly, but very cool little snakes.
I wonder if those are the same ones we have back home.
All right, guys, we're doing some late night shining right now because road cruising was not the snakiest. We got a couple cool things, but here's another canyon tree frog out enjoying the cool and wet weather. We're hoping to see a mountain king snake doing the same, but it's not going so well so far. So we might call it a night soon and try to get up earlier tomorrow so we can take advantage of that first early morning window of activity, hopefully. So we'll see. All right, it's the next morning. We were out here way earlier than yesterday, and we have our first in-hand herp, little poinsettia. I think these are actually a different species or subspecies from the ones in West Texas, too. I'll have to double check on that, but crevice spiny lizard, very cool. And right past the crevice spiny, I spotted this guy flopping around in the grass. This is a Madrean alligator lizard, Algaria kingi. These guys are really, really cool. Basically like little glass lizards that still have their legs. They're anguids, so they're actually closely related. Always a nice addition to the day when you're not seeing any snakes. So we'll get some quick shots of this guy and let him go. Hopefully we'll see more. It's so cool how much these things just kind of look like snakes when you first spot them. But then you see they're actually just really elongated lizards. Very, very cool. We'll leave him to it. It's really cool out, by the way. It's like 63 degrees right now. And he was just doing this when I spotted him. Here's another alligator lizard. About the same size, but this guy's got a complete tail. And they're pretty variable phenotypically. The other one was kind of gray. This guy's a little bit brown. Very, very cool lizards, though. Worth the price of admission. All right, guys. Well, Graham just spotted our fly in my mouth. Jesus Christ. First snake of the day that we've actually gotten a good look at. A nice big blacktail. Look at this guy. He is gorgeous. And very grumpy for a blacktail. All right, we're going to let this guy go back into the mountains. But what a beautiful yellow. And the weird thing is these are actually considered ornatus. So this is the same species that's in West Texas, Nomolosis. And they do look just kind of like a more yellow ornatus. It's really cool. Great snake. Where are the snakes? All right, everyone. It is the evening here in beautiful New Mexico. We had a kind of slow day, but we had, a good time hiking around, enjoying public lands and finding a couple of cool snakes along the way. And now I think we're going to do some road cruising. We're exploring an area that none of us have really been to much, so don't really know what to expect, but that's the fun part about it. What up, bro? Goodbye, bro.
It's 549020. We found a phone in the road. Hello, I don't know who this is, and you don't know who this is, because I found this phone. Or wait, no, I'm sorry.
we found a phone that you just texted in the middle of the street, lost.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll be up here tonight, but we'll be down there tomorrow morning. So if y'all want to come pick it up.
If you call when you come down to town, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Cool.
All right.
Sweet.
All right.
Thanks a lot, man.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Be a good. Also, I just would like to include an anecdote from my life. Not as just this is a story. The first time I ever found a Gila monster, I had my phone in my lap, and when I jump out, it got lost.
There's 5 cars behind us all of a sudden.
They're awesome.
Look at that, a prairie rattlesnake with a long nuchal, so we'll call him Long Nuchal.
He got a long nuchal, so we call him Long Nuchal.
First snake of the night. We'll get him out of the road and get a quick photo. Well, these guys are kind of notoriously grumpy, but very wide-ranging rattlesnake species occurs through a lot of the Great Plains, as far north as Canada and as far south as Mexico. So, not really surprising to see one here, but this is kind of an area I would more expect to see a lot of atrox, and it seems like these are probably going to be the dominant crotalus here, which is a little bit weird to me. So, we'll get him out the road and see what else is out. And here's something you don't like to see, a bullfrog. Which at home is cool, but here in New Mexico, these guys are not native, and they tend to outcompete some of the native species in a lot of places, so not cool. That's kind of cool. Oh man, that is a really unexpected cool snake. Holy cow. Regal Ringneck Snake. That has got to be one of the cooler things we could have possibly found out here.
It's a ringneck.
But it's that size. Look how, and that's not even a big one. That's a normal to tiny size ringneck. And if you flip him over, he's just cracked out. Look at that.
Very nice.
That is so cool. Guess we're not going to the hotel. So, I don't know if you can tell just by the size of this one, but Regal Ringnecks are a lot bigger than our ringnecks we have at home. And they're a lot cooler too in several ways. They eat a lot of other snakes. They just have this cool, super platinum silver kind of color to them. And they live in the desert on top of all that. So really interesting snakes, and something that I don't think we've ever seen one of these on the channel, honestly. And like I said, this is a small one. These things get 3+ feet long. It's actually insane how cool they are. And I really doubt we'll see another one this trip. You know, honestly, they're just a very hard snake to target. They just kind of show up like this one did. And that's part of what makes them so cool. Very difficult snakes to actually intentionally track down. What an awesome snake. Hopefully this is an indicator that there's cool snakes out though. It's been a very slow, very weird night so far until this guy showed up. So we'll get some photos and then let him go, and hopefully we'll see some more snakes. Another weird thing about this thing in the context of other ringnecks is that, like, you can tell this one's kind of young just because of how lanky it is. It's a very lanky ringneck. All right, guys, here we have a blacktail that we just found in the road. And interestingly enough, this is actually a northern blacktail or western blacktail, whatever you want to call it, molossus rather than ornatus. And I think there's actually a little bit of kind of debate about whether or not, where that line is drawn and whether or not ornatus are even a valid thing or not. But he does look quite a bit different from the blacktail we saw earlier today. All right, got a couple quick shots of this blacktail, number 2 for the day. The first one we've night cruised. And hopefully the snakes will continue moving. We've had a nice little activity window here, but nice looking blacktail, a little bit of a contrast to the ones we were seeing earlier today. Or the one we saw earlier today, I should say. And that blacktail was the last find of the night. So I am going to probably wrap this episode up here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully you all have enjoyed our first full video from New Mexico. There's definitely at least a few more coming, so let me know if you guys are enjoying, and I will see you all in the next episode.